Do a little explaining here. I have my numbers all mixed up here because the angles of turning the workpiece, I have this looking at it from the front view, and that would be a positive going from right to left. That's how we do angles. The degrees on the spin jig goes from right to left. The numbers go high as you start turning it clockwise. And so I was getting the numbers mixed up here, and that's why I was saying 117 and 297 the other day, when it's actually supposed to be 63 and 243, and that's what I turned it to when I did the next milling. That's why when you heard me say the next time I said 63 degrees and everything, and you might got a little confused when I was saying 117 before that. That's the reason why, because I made a recalculation. As I continue going down through here, I find out that I had to make another recalculation and to go from 37 degrees to 143 degrees. Because again, I was getting mixed up between the angle turning on here with respect to the spin jig angle turning. And that's the reason why I was getting those numbers mixed up. But looking at it now, it's working pretty good. It's going to work good now. So now I need to turn the spin jig to 143 degrees on the spin jig, and that should get my cutter in this position right here, so I can start at the tip of the cutter and go straight across to get the back relief now, and that's what's coming up next here. Now I have it on the 63 degrees. Let me go back to 0 here again and get my pin in here. Okay, now back at 0. Okay, I want to look for 143 degrees. That's on the jig itself here, 143 degrees. That would be 100, 110, 20, 30, 140 is right here. And then come over 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn it. As you can see, I have to turn clockwise in this direction to go up the degrees. While on the face of it, you have to go the other direction to go up on degrees. It's completely different than the regular way of turning and solving for angles. It's always positive from counterclockwise. In this case, it's positive clockwise on the spin jig, and that's where I was getting mixed up. But we got all, I think we have it pretty settled now, so we'll go from there. Okay, what I'm going to need to do now is I'm going to take the edge of my cutter, the bottom of the cutter, and I'm going to come to the tip of the cutter itself on the workpiece cutter. I'm going to come to the tip of that, and then I'm going to mill across flat using the y-axis, and that will take care of the back relief here. And then I will turn it 180 degrees into the same thing. And then we have the front relief taken care of and the back relief, and then the rest of it will be just the aesthetics of taking off the rest of the high points. Okay, so this is now taking care of it. As we're going to do now is take care of the back relief now. Okay, I didn't bring it down all the way because I want to work up to it. I don't want to overshoot it. But it looks like I may not have to even bother the y-axis. All I need to do is just touch off the face here and then set up for my 375 inch thousandths of an inch on the x-axis so as to stop it in the same place as I did before, and just go longitudinal with the x-axis and use that for the milling, because it looks like the 1/4 inch is going to go across the whole part here now, so there's no need to move the y-axis. Okay, let me get this here set up now for touching off on the face of this now. Okay, I'm touching right there. Set this to 0. And now I'll go across 275. Okay, now I didn't reach down all the way to the full depth that I want to get it to, which is good because I want to snake up on the cut. But this way here, because I'm using a spin jig, I can go back and forth. I can go now to the 323 degrees and do the same cut, and then come back here again, and then lower the z-axis and keep on slinking up on the cut. And that's what's nice about the spin jig. You can turn it back and forth, and you end up in the same registered place every time because you're using an indexing. Now I'll turn to 323. 320. 1, 2, 3. So now be ready to do the next milling here. The number that I keep on quoting, that's nothing more than just 180 degrees added on to that original number. That's how I get that second number. Okay, let's start cutting this part now. Okay, I'll lower the z-axis a little farther now and continue on. There, I'll just move my y-axis back and forth here now. And clean up that edge I missed. Okay. Okay, I'll switch over to the other side now, the other side, and then we'll check and see how it looks. Okay, here's what we're trying to get to right now, and see what we have here now. That's looking pretty close. The cutter is right here and down there. Let's see, get the light on there now without washing it out. Okay. So we're pretty close to our drawing. So now what I need to do is I need to take off the remaining corners just to make it look nice, really. Here's all it is now, this part right here. It's just this part right here. And all I'll be doing is turn that so we can knock off these corners right here. That's all we're going to do now is just knock off the corner. Knock off these corners right here. Boom, boom. And now it gives this profile here. So let's go ahead and figure out those angle turns now, and I'll be back and we'll mill that off. Okay, it looks like all I need to do is I just turn that to 180 degrees on the spin jig now. And when it shows 180, that puts the cutter edge right here and right here, and now I can just take off the corners here now, which makes sense because the cutter's profile started out at 90 degrees, and So yeah, it makes sense to turn to about 180 to take off the opposing corners. So once you get those corners done, then the cutter will be made as far as the machining part. This part, I'm going to take on the lathe and do the machining down to final dimension on the neck that will fit inside the slot on the table itself. Okay, switch it to 360 degrees or 0 degrees, and then we'll machine that last corner. 0 degrees, back to 0 degrees, and so that takes care of the last corner here now. Alright, that's it. It's all the milling machining on it. Let's take a look at it now. The profile. Let's see it or not. Move it light on there now, see if it washes it out. Okay, there's the profile. I'll take it out and take a good closer look at it now. Oh, it is nice and sharp. Alright, let's go take a look at it on the bench. Here's what we're trying to achieve right here. And see how close we came to it. Yep, that's very close. Alright, that's successful in following the steps of doing this. Next step now will be to take it on my lathe and to machine that 3/16 so they will fit inside the neck of the groove here, and then we can start machining this thing through like that. Okay, that's next. Over to the lathe now. Okay, 20,000. One more yet? Should do it right there. Alright, 175. You only need 180 some, so looking good there. Let's give it a try now. See what we got. Okay, let's take it over. It almost looks like a dovetail cutter because I cut it on a little bit of an angle to get a little more relief this way here, so I can always just raise it up as I need to get it where I want to get it to the T-slot. I will try it like that, see how that works. Okay, what I did is I reduced the height of that from a 1/4 inch down to about 1/8 of an inch. The the 1/4 inch, which is a little bit too much, I think, to put a drag on the material that's cutting. Seeing it's going to be cutting its own slot. So what I did was I just reduced the height of it, and we'll see how that works. And I can always just advance and do it in stages. I can advance the cutter to widen the slot as need be. Okay, so there it is, and we'll give it a try now on the milling machine. The last thing to do for this here to prep this, and that is to put a flat on here so it fits in the holder with the set screw. I should take care of that. Okay, now we have the cutter ready to go into the chuck, or into the holder here, and we'll get this table piece set up here, and we'll see how that works. Okay guys, let's give it a try. Watching this live, see how this works. looks like on the first pass, I still need to go down a little bit lower and maybe up a little bit higher. But that's what we got so far, and looks like it's gonna work pretty good. All right, so the form tool works pretty good, and I'll just continue on doing this on the other ones now, and looks like the T-slot cutter is going to work for this here. Okay, that's all for now. Okay, I got the T-slots done on the first model here. And the T-slot cutter is holding up pretty good here. Still holding up nice. Okay, so I say it's a successful job of making the T-slot cutter. And looks good. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Bye.